So I am here today with Saskia and Carly, a smile from heaven. And we planned this totally at the last minute. So first of all, I have to thank them both for saying yes to me at the last minute. We're all on totally different time zones. So it's like 4:30 in New York. It's 9:30 in the UK. It's 6:30, right? Carly, in the AM? Yeah. Oh, tomorrow. It's actually tomorrow for Carly.
I'm in the
Tomorrow,
future.
and we're in today.
I love it. It's perfect that you're in the future because we're going to be manifesting. So, who else is saying, hey, Peter, how are you? Michelle, CID, Sherry. So, it's really awesome to see all of you. And, we're just going to go with the flow. We're going to talk about manifesting. And Saskia is a pro at manifesting, which is one of the reasons why I'm excited she's here. And as you know, Carly, with her journaling and her creativity, all the stuff that I love, all in one place. So I'm going to
Can I
start.
also say, sorry,
Yes.
can I just say we have three of the most delicious accents on the planet as well.
Love that.
Delicious,
I love it.
Australian and British. It's like heaven.
I love it. I love the mix. I mean, I think it's so cool.
And it's funny that you said, Saskia, before we started, it's funny when you said, I loved your New York accent, because I'm currently, my guilty pleasure is I'm currently binge watching Blue Bloods. So
I love that.
Yeah, so I'm up to like season 8 or something on Blue Bloods. So I'm loving their accent. So yeah, I agree.
Yes. Oh my God, that is one of my favorite series. I binge watched it and now I'm current. So it's like every time one comes out, I'm like, we gotta watch Blue Bloods. Jessica is no, are they in Boston on Blue Bloods? I thought they were in New York.
No, they're New York. Well,
yeah,
it's set in New York, but I don't
Essex.
know, maybe.
Yeah, Jessica thought they were in Boston, but no, they are in New York. What is Michelle? Oh, Michelle says the accents in different languages strike a chord. I love that. Oh, Misty, thank you. Misty says all her 3 favorite teachers. I love you, Misty. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Don't worry, it's my 3 favorites too.
Aw. So yeah, we just decided to do this on Monday, scheduled it at the last minute, and we're here and we're just going to talk about whatever, but we're going to start by introducing ourselves. And I know you all know me. I'm the girl that likes a crowd on screen. I don't do anything by myself anymore. I love having other people with me. And I am going to let Carly start and introduce herself and tell you what she does for those of you who don't know her. I know a lot of people here do already.
Well, thank you, Violet, for organizing this. I'm super excited. So for those who don't know who I am, my name is Carly. I'm half of a smile from heaven. The other half is my amazing husband, Jordan, who I'm sure will pop on here at some point and say hello. He's downstairs eating breakfast. I'm a creative arts therapist. So I love all forms of creativity. In fact, the other morning when I woke up, and we discussed on a messenger thing that we're going to do this. And then I went to bed and then I woke up the next morning and they're like, this is when we're doing it. And I'm like, well, I'm glad you picked that time, because about an hour after I get off with you, I'm back live again doing a painting session here. So yeah, I love all forms of creativity. Today, I'm hoping that we're going to be able to talk about, not just journaling, but the oracle cards and stuff that we've been chatting with Violet about. I love cacao. I love connecting in with who you truly are on the inside and using that to allow your inner artist to come out and have its own voice. And when I say inner artist, it doesn't mean that your art needs to be hung on a wall in a gallery or a museum or gifted or ever be seen by anybody else. Your inner artist needs a voice to be seen. Your inner artist needs a voice to be seen and heard for your own self, for your wisdom, for your insights, for your own healing. And when we give that permission, we can really access in and allow our intuition to expand and just work through different emotions that come up. So that's who I am.
And speaking of the inner artist, this is one of hers that I have framed and sitting by my desk. Whoops. Sorry, I'm getting some glare there, but that's That's Violet.
I named her Violet.
And I've got another beautiful sunflower who's actually sitting in my window because I was watching Carly do these one night and I was like, I am in love with that sunflower, which she had shown, but she was working on the violet. And I was like, I want them both. So I have them framed in my house. I can't draw, but I love people that are creative that way. So I love having their stuff. Beautiful
How long
stuff.
have you two known each other?
Couple of months.
I was going to say, yeah, a few months, right? I mean, I feel like I've known most of you all my life, which is crazy,
Yeah.
but it's been a few months.
I think when it's a real soul connection that, time is insignificant.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. Carly was one of those people that I saw doing a live and was like, I'm in love with this person. Look what she's doing. And I can't draw and I don't make these beautiful journals that she makes, but I was fascinated. So yeah, definitely love at first sight there. And then Saskia, I mean, the first time I saw her, I was like, this person's amazing. And I did her course on dealing with a difficult mother, which I swear was written just for me. But Saskia, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Yes.
We have the same mother, Violet.
Yes, we do.
Hello everyone. I haven't done a group thing like this before, so I'm trying to look down at the messages. So if
That's
I'm looking
fine.
down, it's not like I'm being rude to anybody. I'm just trying to keep up with the chat. So my name is Saskia Lightstar, and I'm not very good at describing myself and putting myself in a box because I don't really fit in any boxes. But what I can tell you is I am on Insight Timer because I healed myself. I healed my whole life. I had a terrible childhood. I had traumas. I had low self-worth, inferiority complex, eating disorder, divorces, you name it. I ticked it off my bucket list. And then I went on this amazing journey of self-connection, becoming my own best friend. And I brought myself back to life and I'm living the greatest existence I've ever known. And now I create what I call audio healing journeys, which is to take you into yourself so you can connect with yourself and heal yourself and create the life you want. In a nutshell, that's pretty much what I do.
Well, I think you described yourself beautifully. And as for me, I just like bringing people together through technology. So I'll leave it at that. But I do love the oracle cards and I love journaling. I love scripting. I love all these things. And I used journaling as my way in to Insight Timer because, I wasn't a meditation teacher. I was in awe of all these other teachers and everything that they were doing. And I was like, how can I become part of that? And one of the things that I do have are like a million crystals around the house and a million card decks. And I love journaling. So I used all that as my way into Insight Timer. But then one night in the shower, I had this thought. I was like, there's so many amazing teachers on Insight Timer. Like, wouldn't it be cool to get us together? For myself personally, I have a hard time talking alone, when I go live and I'm by myself and I'm reading the chat and I'm responding to people, but I want that interaction, like that live interaction. And I thought, what if I invited, because I learned how to use this crazy software called OBS, which makes it possible for us to be here together. So I was like, what if I use that and invite other teachers to come and chat about something? I don't know, maybe a Q&A. And I asked Melanie Underwood, who's another teacher, I was like, what do you think about that idea? Do you think it's silly? She says, oh, give it a try. So we had no idea what we were going to do. We tried it. We had 6 people on the first time and it was amazing. And it was so well received. And I mean, it lit me up. I love being on camera with these other teachers. So I started scheduling one after the other and other people started joining. The second live we did, we had 12 teachers on at the same time. That was crazy. And I thought, okay, I was fine with 12, but Melanie was like, maybe 9 would be a little more manageable because I get crazy. I'm like, all right, let's do 9. So we have a lot of lives scheduled, one a week, but I'm also now doing these special lives, which are topics that other teachers have recommended, scripting, journaling. We've got one, we're gonna be doing a whole bunch of stuff. Like another teacher said to me, what if we did one with just male teachers from a male perspective? So I'm gonna be scheduling that as well. But we have all kinds of ideas, astrology, human design. So on top of the usual, ask your guides Q&A, we're going to be doing these special topics, and this one tonight is a special topic, and it's on manifesting and journaling and oracle cards. And one of the things that I asked Carly if she would do, since Carly and I between us own about 200 card decks, I said, "Hey, what if you pull a card and we can start, with that, pull a card for the group, and I'm going to let yeah, and that's just like a tenth of her collection."
I narrowed it down to my favorite 6.
I'm glad to see that. What's that first one on the top? It looks familiar.
This little one,
Oh, that's I don't think I have that one. Wow.
Spirit of the Animals.
Nice. Earth magic, I see there. I see a bunch of. So, which one of those are you going to use to pull a card for us?
Well, they're all kind of got different themes. So you tell me. We've got witchy theme, shaman dream, goddess, earth. We've got 4 agreements, and then we've got animals. So I've narrowed it down to my favorite 6 that all have different type of themes. And I thought you could pick, Violet.
I want to say Shaman's Dream.
This is one of my favorite decks that my best friend gave me as a Christmas present a couple of years ago. So it is a beautiful, beautiful deck.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, and it's a really lovely box too. I know I'm a bit weird when it comes to, I like the little simple pleasures in life, but look at the box.
Yes, I love boxes like that because I can never get the other ones apart.
Yeah, that too. So I'll read you out what it says on the box here. It says the Shaman Dream is actually by Alberto. I don't know how to Villo. See, why did I say that? Because
Oh, show me the box. I think maybe I know him. Yeah, I've heard of him.
Alberto Villodo.
Villodo? I would say Villodo and Colette Baron Reed. I had no idea that they did a deck together.
Yeah, yep.
That's cool.
And it says we're all sacred dreamers dreaming the world into being. What will you dream? And
see, that's perfect.
It is, because that's really what manifesting is about. It's about putting it into place first, isn't it? What can you dream? And then bringing that into your existence, really. Yeah. So the Shaman's Dream Oracle is a powerful collaboration between master teachers. The imagery and insights draw from the shamanic dream world of archetypes and magic, yet offer fresh contemporary interpretations. Mythic landscapes, spirit beings, and understand how the sacred realm shapes our experiences in the walking world. It will reveal your dreamscape, guide you to co-create your world and manifest your most precious intentions.
Love it.
Yeah. So do you want me to do a card now? Do you want me to pull a card? Yes? Okay, cool.
Yes, please.
So when I'm pulling cards, and everybody does cards differently, but when I'm pulling cards, I allow the cards to speak to me, in that I wait for a card to come flying out. I don't open the deck. I don't take one from the top. I just shuffle until one drops out.
I love
that. That to me is the cards are telling me what they want. And so this is the card that came out, which is Cosmic Womb, the Divine Feminine. So when I see a card like that, because obviously we're all made up of masculine and feminine, but the Divine Feminine, when I see that, it's all about nurturing and mothering ourselves as well, and like really tapping into our feminine side. But I will also read what says in the book so that what number is 6. So anybody here who likes numbers, it's card number 6.
I love numbers.
And believe it or not, the very first word at the top of this page says creativity.
Love it.
Creativity, the divine feminine. The cosmic womb is a reminder that you're undergoing a beautiful process of birthing a new self into being, which is that mothering, isn't it? You don't know who or what it is yet, but you know it's full of life and love, passion and spirit. It's the perfect expression of you, imbued with love incarnate and ignited by the vital spark received from the divine. If you've had a difficult time in recent memory, feeling dry and stagnant or lost and unsupported, this is changing right now. You will feel newly inspired as so many ideas beckon for your attention. Know that you're safe to explore the expression of your rejuvenated creativity, releasing all judgment as your curiosity is piqued. You're in the most fertile cycle of your life right now. Hopefully not for real. Intuitively keen, with heart wide open, mindful that each step in the direction of your dreams and desires is effortlessly supported by all the divine helpers in this unseen realm.
I love that.
Beautiful card. And, so when I interpret cards, I don't always read the book. Very rarely do I read the book unless I want extra. I read a card based on what comes up for me. But when I look at the book as well, I always allow one part of the words to really jump out to me, and that's the part that resonates. But the thing that really stood out was know that you are safe to explore the expression of your rejuvenated creativity, releasing all judgment. Because I think when it comes to manifesting, we have this judgment of, but how's it going to happen? How? And we're totally always focused on, but this is what I want, but I don't know how I'm going to get it, because we're focused on the how. But when we give over to the process and let go of expectations and allow ourselves to actually admit what it is we want, which is part of that ignited rebirth creativity, isn't it? It's like really imagining what it is we want, letting go of judgment. We don't need to know all the details. We just need to put it out to the universe that this is what we want. And I think that's a really great starting reminder for this session, because then when Saskia talks about how we manifest, it all come together, because we don't need to hold on to that how. We just need to, be open. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It does make sense.
Sorry.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. Carly and I said that when my husband, whenever I tell him like I want to manifest this, he's like, well, how? And I'm like, don't bring me down with your how vibe. I'm like, I have to believe it's going to happen, and I don't want to hear about the how.
Yeah.
So Saskia does some amazing sessions on manifesting. So I want to hear your take on that whole, on how we manifest and how you feel it, and anything that you want to say.
The only reason I know about manifesting is because I've now, over the past, I'd say 3 or 4 years, perfected the art. So I am literally manifesting my life now. And I never thought that would be possible. I literally 3 years ago, I was living in London. I hated my existence. And I wanted a sky full of stars. That was the most important thing to me. And last night, I was standing in my garden, and literally, I have my own planetarium in my garden. I literally have a sky full of stars. And I was just standing there going, I did this. I created this. I brought this into my life. And if I can do that, it means each and every one of us can do this. And like Carly said, the problem is we always get stuck in the, okay, great, I've got this amazing dream, but how am I going to make it happen? I never knew how I was going to make any of the things that I made happen. I trusted that the universe would give me the crumbs, and all I had to do was follow them. For example, I wanted to be a Hay House author. And so the way that presented to me was they were doing a Hay House writers workshop in the UK. I went, I entered the competition. at the workshop and I got a worldwide publishing deal. The crumbs came. I just followed them. I didn't force anything. I didn't knock on Hay House's door saying I want a publishing deal. So I think to set yourselves free and to make your dreams come true, you have to, like Carly said, let go of how you're going to do it, because that's what's blocking you. You need to trust 100% that it's going to come and you're going to be given everything you need. And all you got to do is just follow the clues. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It does make sense. I remember years ago when I was in my first somewhat unhappy marriage, I used to make lists all the time. And I didn't know anything about scripting or manifesting, or at least I didn't think I did. But I was keeping these lists of what I wanted, and it just made me feel better. And years later, after getting out of that marriage, I found these books and these lists, and I was like, wow, like these things really happened. And it was because I had written them down and I didn't know. So that's how I started getting into the whole scripting, lists, manifesting, vision boards, all that kind of stuff. So I'm a huge believer in that. Like even the house that I live in now, it was when I was a kid, I used to look at my mom's, she had these house and garden magazines. We lived in the city, in New York City, tall buildings, not a lot of grass or trees. And I used to look at these magazines and these houses, and I was like, wow, those houses are so beautiful. Like, what must it be like to live there? Like, I used to fantasize and daydream about these houses. And I literally live in a house like that now. I have these floor to ceiling windows. There's nothing but trees outside. I'm sitting here looking at trees all the time. And I think to myself, how did that happen? I was a kid. I didn't even know. I was just admiring these beautiful pictures constantly. I used to take her magazines and keep them and just daydream about these houses. And I really believe these things work. So I love it that we can share that with other people. And I love that that's what we're doing here. And if anyone has, oh, Peter, thank you. She says she loves my trees. If anybody has any questions about this, I would love to hear them. Any questions for Carly or for Saskia? If you want to do some scripting or list making or anything at all, please. Yes, Jessica, what you believe you achieve. I agree 100%.
Can I say one thing? I think also when it comes to manifesting, we're always talking about what do you want to call in? And it's all about thoughts. The key to manifesting is tuning into the feeling. And that is very hard to do because basically you're being asked to feel the feeling of having peace in your life, of having abundance in your life, of having that unconditional love you're craving. You're being asked to tune into that feeling now. And for some people, that can be very hard because it's like, well, how do you want me to feel it to call it in if I haven't got it? And that's the power of daydreaming. And I think we've got scared to dream because we think if I'm going to dream and tune into how that dream feels, I'm going to get disappointed. It won't happen. And it's the fear. It's always the fear. And the way to manifest is to dare to dream and to feel those dreams in your body. Every day when I take my dog for a walk, I put on my headphones and I listen to music and I daydream. Just like Violet said, I daydream, but I'm so in the daydream. I literally will sometimes hold my hand out next to me as I walk, and I imagine my king holding my hands, and I'm literally drawn to tears because I can feel the love between us. That's how much I'm tuned into the daydream. I'm feeling it. And as I'm feeling it that much, I become a magnet for it. So if I can say anything to you guys, please allow yourself to dream as big as you want to dream. We were told in childhood, get responsible, get your head out the clouds. And I'm basically saying they were lying. You need to find a balance between the two. You need to be responsible, but you should have never stopped dreaming. And we need to get back into being these young, beautiful things that dream magic and feel the magic, because that's how the magic happens.
Yes, I love that. And we used to spend a lot of time daydreaming when we were kids, and we don't do that anymore. I do, but now, but I didn't. And there was a quote that I loved. Oh, were you before the world told you who you should be? I love that quote. I think about that quote all the time. I write it in my journals all the time. I love it. Melissa Manifest, I want to point out, is here, who is an awesome teacher and also an excellent person with manifestation. I love her lives. And yesterday I was at one of her lives and someone said to her, how do you put yourself in that feeling place when you're having a crappy day? And one of the suggestions Melissa made, which I absolutely loved, was make a list of things that bring you joy. And when you're not feeling so great, look at that list and pick something from that list. And I thought, yes, what an awesome way to raise your vibration, because we've all been there. I mean, I I don't walk around smiling every day. There's times when I have crappy days too. And I know it's not easy to say, I'm gonna, sit down and script or journal or make a vision board and be real cheery and happy. But I also know that I can change my focus. I don't have to let that bad day take me over. And, just this past week, I had come back from vacation and I had emails and who needed what and, at work. And I was like, oh, I came back from this nice 5-day vacation with the family and the kids where I didn't have a care in the world. And now there's all those demands on my time and I don't want to do any of it. And I thought to myself, I got to get myself out of this funk. So I ripped out my book. I started scripting. I'm having an amazing day. This person's no longer a problem. And sure enough, it doesn't always work that fast, but that day did turn around immediately for me. This one problem person went away, which was amazing, was a lot faster. And I don't mean like anything happened to them. I mean, they figured out their own issue without needing my help. So that was a huge relief to me because that would have been like a day of work for me. And I didn't want to do it. So I love that suggestion. And I love the idea of changing your vibration. And if anybody else has any tips on how to do that, please share them. Go ahead.
I love what Saskia was saying, and I love obviously everything you say as well. But I also want to add, so that when we talk about feelings and emotions, Saskia's so right. If you don't tap into those, nothing's ever going to shift. I want to tap on two things. One thing that Misty was saying, was it Misty in the comments was saying, and it might have been Peter, sorry, Peter Brook was saying often the hiccup for her is putting it into action steps. So yes, that if we don't step into the feelings and the emotions, we can't really start working on what it is we want. I bring it back to not just daydreaming, but I bring it back to any intention setting that I do. So whenever I'm setting an intention, I always add in a feeling or an emotion, and it could be anything really small. Because if you do tap into the feeling or the emotion while you're intention setting, it goes a lot deeper. So think about it this way. If your intention is a continual intention of wanting to lose weight, often when we think about something like losing weight, it's or any type of intention, it's like a to-do list. We want to just mark it off a to-do list. All right, my intention is I need to lose 5 kilos, right? Say, for example, honestly, be honest with yourself. Who keeps saying that in their head? I need to lose weight. I need to do this. I need to lose weight, right? If you just saying, I need to lose weight, that's one thing. That's an intention. You're putting it out to the universe that you want to lose weight, right? Now think about this. Close your eyes and say to yourself, oh my God, I'm going to feel absolutely amazing in that red dress at the reunion. I'm going to be so confident in my skin. I can't wait to get my hair and my makeup done with my new outfit in this new body. Instantly, it has changed from you're still wanting to lose the weight, but why? And how are you going to feel with that weight lost? So you're tapping into the emotions of what you are going to, so I always say to people, how do you get to show up? So, because often it's really hard, like Saskia said, it's hard for people to go, well, I don't know how I'm going to feel. I've never had this before. So you think about, how do you get to show up? Do you get to show up as someone who is more confident, who has more courage, who, can speak in public, who is a lot more calmer, who can set boundaries, whatever it is your intention is, how do you get to show up with that and visualize it? I'm my ADHD brain, I can, play a movie in my head. So I have like a little movie playing of who I am going to be, who, I have these like executive meetings. I don't know if other people do that. Have executive meetings with the people in their head of who we get to be and how life gets to show up. And so and I think a lot of it is like Saskia and Violet were saying, we don't give ourselves permission enough to dream. We don't give ourselves permission enough to believe in the impossible. We don't give ourselves permission to expand our possibilities enough because we are so scared. That fear, we're so scared of everything. Now, when Peter was saying, the hiccup of how do you get started, the journaling that I have learned from this amazing book that a friend of mine's daughter wrote, it's all about breaking it down into creating really small, manageable, micro action steps. And like super, super small, super like so beyond small that it seems ridiculous that it's even a step, because even the smallest of steps will start things off, right? So imagine you're anything, you're driving a car, a bus, or a plane, and you're driving on the road, but you veer your trajectory even just 1%, you're going to end up in a totally different direction. You're going to end up at a different destination. And that's really what these micro steps are. It's just that one little thing, like Saskia was saying before, it's the breadcrumbs. That one little action step will get you to the next breadcrumb, and that will take you to the next breadcrumb, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. So we can manifest, we can put it out there, we can set intentions, we can do all this stuff, but we still also need to step up and do something. It doesn't mean that we need to know how. It doesn't mean we have to have all the details. It just means that we need to make, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, but it kind of means, oh, thank you, the sun. It just means that we've also got to play a part in our journey as well, and not just lay back with our eyes closed and expect the world to do it for us. So micro steps. So something like if you are talking about abundance, or, wanting to make more money in your business or anything like that, getting really, one of the small action steps could be getting really intimate with your own finances. So many people are like actually don't know what's going on in their own budgeting on a really deep, intimate level, because they're like, I'd rather not know because it's too overwhelming. Or it could be, if part of your intention or your manifesting is to call in more business, well, are you showing up on social media in different ways? So it could be that, you do something different on your social media. It could be making that client follow-up phone call that you've been putting off. These are really small, achievable. We want achievable steps, not, okay, yeah, I want to have $1 million, and then make your action step to, write a check for $100,000. That's great. We can add those into our vision boards. That can be part of the bigger picture. But when you're working, we chunk it down into smaller, manageable steps. Like it could literally be go and buy a lotto ticket. That's achievable for everybody. It's possible. You don't know. It could be possible. So we want really small mini steps that you can achieve so that you feel and are winning along the way, and not making yourself, setting yourself up for failure when you set these big action steps that you're never going to achieve. You want to make small.
Can I, do you mind?
No, go
You're
for
inspiring. So, okay. I come from a very different place, okay? And I know that I think I've become quite evolved. So I think sometimes what I say might be a little too out there, but just try and bear with me. I have come to a place where I know I am a spiritual being having a human experience. I know I am part of the universe in this beautiful body that I'm very grateful and blessed to be in, that is Saskia. And I get to look out of Saskia's eyes, and I get to taste food with Saskia's mouth, and I get to feel love, and I get to feel grief, and I get to have bad days, and I get to have good days. But I realize that I'm having a human experience. And when you know that you are part of the universe, you know you can create anything you want because you're part of the universe. The problem is we are also connected to our humanness, that we have made ourselves small when none of you are small. You all are the universe. You all can manifest anything you want if you tap into the power that is your truth. But we're all too connected to our humanness, our physical being, and we haven't spent enough time connecting to our souls. And that is the work I did. And that's the work I do with my clients. Know the truth of who you are. Connect to yourself, but get deeper than your name and your age and your marital status and your bank account. Go deeper. And then you realize, pardon my French, but holy shit, I am the universe, and therefore I can mold and create the life I want. And when you believe that and you understand that, then you become the master of your destiny.
Totally agree. I totally agree with absolutely everything you're saying. I think it's amazing because, you know, I've connected with who I am on a deeper level through cacao. And when you know your truth and you live your truth and you be who you are, nothing anybody says or does or behaves around you affects you in that way. Like there are moments where I go, really? And then I go, hang on a second, that's got nothing to do with me. That's on them. Like, I know who I am. I love who I am. My warts and all, far from perfect. you know, and it's when we get to that evolved stage, we understand that things will happen and we can follow the breadcrumbs, and most of the time I'm taking inspired action steps without even realizing that I'm doing it, because I know the small ways in which I need to change my trajectory to get to where I want to be. So yeah, I think that's such a beautiful place to be at. And I know everybody on here is getting to that place in their own journey as well. But if you're not there yet, that's okay, because it's a journey that's never, like, nothing in nature is straight, you know? And if you need to sit down and write a list of your small, manageable micro steps along the way, then write the list. And then eventually you'll get to the point where you'll wake up in the morning and before you've even opened your eyes, you've gone, these are all the things that I'm going to do to step into the being that I am today. It will just come second nature and naturally to you when you're walking your dog, or when you're, sitting in nature, or you're having your cacao. You just do all these things. All the teachers here on Insight Timer, we are real human beings with our own shit going on, with our own problems, with our own ups and downs. And we have those days where we're like, oh, I don't want to be doing this, But in fact, most of us now, we're at a point now where they're not even a day like that. It's a moment. And even Violet said it before. She had a moment. It started off where she was like, this is going to be a shit day, but once she did her stuff, it became a moment in her day. It didn't make her whole day shit. She didn't turn it into a whole week. We didn't, so once we've started to evolve, we then don't. And I'm not calling anybody out. This is not a judgment. This is all just coming from my own personal experience. I used to take a bad moment and wallow in it, and then turn it into a bad day, and then turn that into a bad week, a bad month, until I thought that I had the worst life on the planet. And it all came back to me wallowing, me playing victim, and me not stepping up and taking accountability for the choices that I was making. And now, yeah, I have a bad day. No, I don't, actually. I have a bad moment and I shift it. We have bad moments, and it's up to us. Are you going to allow the rest of the world around you to affect you in a negative way, or are you going to come back to your truth, know who you are, love and accept who you are, even on your worst days and your worst moments, and we've all got guilt, we've all got shame, we've all done things we didn't want to do. Thankfully, for most of us older generation, we don't have video and photo proof of it. But we've all been there. It's a matter of moving through that and stop wallowing. Stop wallowing in who we used to be. Our past does not define who we are going forward. The only thing that defines that is this and this. And until this starts shifting within who you truly are, nothing will ever change. Sorry, I think I went off on a bit of a tangent there.
No, I love it. No, I think that's awesome. Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
I used to wallow too. I can relate to that. I was married to a man who didn't make me happy, and I had two small kids. And, I think back to that time of my life, and I'm like, what was different then than now? Like, I was pretty miserable back then. And it was my way of thinking. It was what I focused on, how much I hated him. I hated my life. I hated everything. Like, I seriously thought the only way out of that life for me was going to be him dying eventually. Like, I had this life sentence of misery ahead of me. And like one day I woke up and I was like, no, like I get to decide what my life is going to be like. Like, what was that moment for the two of you? I'm curious.
For me personally, it was the moment I realized I was trying to drown myself in a shower and take Jordan's pain medication and overdose. I just got to a point where I realized that, and Jordan is this amazing. So Jordan is now in the comments now. So my husband, Jordan, amazing medium, amazing spiritual healer, helped so many people for over 25 years on their journeys and all this stuff, but he couldn't help me. And it wasn't that he couldn't help me, it's that I didn't want to help me until I hit that rock bottom. And I really hope that it doesn't help. I really hope that other people don't wait that long, because that was my biggest regret, not doing it sooner. But sometimes people like me, we have to hit rock bottom before we realize, oh, hang on a second, enough's enough. Nobody's coming to save me. It's not up to anybody else to come and save me. It's not up to my husband to make me happy. It's not up to my daughter to bring me joy. It's up to me to do that for myself. And then anything I get from them is a bonus. So, yeah, me hitting rock bottom and having a breakdown, Jordan nearly institutionalized me. Like, I was catatonic. I couldn't even breathe properly. I couldn't drink water. I was just a lost cause for a while there. And a lot of it come down to the fact that I gave away my power. I allowed everybody around me to affect me. I allowed my relationship with my mum to bring me down. I allowed everybody's opinions and judgments and all my people-pleasing tendencies. I allowed everything to just snowball me. I never stood up for who I truly was. I never took my mask off. I was always the loudest person in the room. I've always been an extrovert, but it was that masking. I still am an extrovert, but I'm also an introvert sometimes as well now. Like, I've given myself permission to be, okay, I don't have to be always seen and heard, but I was always, if I'm making the most noise this way, I can hide all this. So yeah, until I had my breakdown, nothing changed, and it had to change within me. So I found a life coach, I found cacao, I found myself through meditation, and consistently every single day showing up for myself and creating a toolbox of not negotiables that I do for myself every single day. Because whether it's 5 minutes or 5 hours, I will never, ever put myself last ever again. I will never disappoint myself. I would rather disappoint everybody around me I would rather be the villain in somebody else's story than be the villain in my own story. It's not happening.
I love this woman. I love this woman.
Me too. Me too.
So yeah,
It's
I
true.
get really passionate when I talk about my inner healing work and stuff. And yeah, I had a shitty upbringing in a different way. Like, I had a lot of emotional abuse. And you don't realize it until you're older, because they can't see the bruises and the scars and stuff like that you realize how bad and toxic that was. I released everything out of my family. I only have contact with one person in my family. And it's a lot. A lot of people are like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, but I had to do that for my own sanity. And, I don't care whether they're related to you by blood or not. You do not have to put up with it. Sorry, no. No, I'm not doing that cycle anymore. The buck stops here.
I agree with that so much. Yes. No, go ahead. I just said I agree.
I think for me, what you said, the nugget you said, which is, I think we can all agree on the most important thing, and I think people just don't understand the importance of this, is daily practice, whatever your practice is. And there are no rules to spirituality and holistic well-being. That's the beauty of it. You make your own toolbox. But if you want to change your life and you want to change yourself, you need to implement it every day. This can't be a once a week thing. This is work. It's inner work. It's not meant to be easy, but the harder you work, the bigger the rewards, the more you transform, and the more that light that's coming in is a metaphor to what's happened to Carly's life. She created that light. She brought more light into her life by integrating things into her world every day. And you're absolutely right. Like, you don't dim your light for anybody. I spent my life trying to fit in boxes that I didn't fit in to keep other people happy. And it was at my own expense. I mean, Carly, Violet, me, we are living proof that doesn't matter how crap your life is, it doesn't matter what you think about yourself, you can change your mind and you can live the greatest life you've ever lived. And you've got these beautiful souls that are on Insight Timer, just inspiring you every day to keep at it and not give up. It's such a powerful thing. I'm honored to have you two, just listening to you. Like, we come from the same place. All of us are the same. We're all the same. We know the same pain. We know the same struggles. We know the same low self-worth. We know the same fear. And we can overcome it if we just believe that we can.
And choose to. Choose yourself. That's my biggest mantra, is I choose me. I choose me. You know, and at the end of every meditation, every cacao ceremony, my parting affirmation is, I am the one I've been waiting for. Because think about that. It is not up to anybody else. No one is coming to do the work for you. No one is going to save you. No one's just going to plonk this beautiful, perfect life that you are imagining in your lap when you just wake up one day. You are the one. It is your life. Take it back. It's your voice. Take it back. It's your freedom. Take it back. It's your truth. Speak it. And if the people around you aren't vibing with that, then you've got the wrong people around you. Plain and simple. Find the tribe, because those who matter don't judge, and those who judge don't matter. Plain and simple.
And all the cool people are on Insight Timer.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Violet, I want to hear your wisdom too.
Yes.
You know, I could relate to everything that you were saying. I also cut people out of my life, you know, family. I used to put up with a lot of crap, and I finally was like, I'm not, why am I doing this? You know, I don't have to. And you've got this amazing community where you can find, like you said, find your tribe. You can find people that vibe with you. I mean, that was what originally drew me to Insight Timer. And then I started seeing all these teachers, and I'm an introvert. I'm the total opposite of the two of you. Very much an introvert. But I was like, I want to be part of this somehow, you know, and I find that when you're around the right people, like these two, it just brings it out and you. It just comes natural. Like, there's no shyness, there's no holding back. You know, I spent a lifetime dimming my light, playing small so that other people would feel comfortable around me. I don't do that anymore. I'm like, I don't give a crap. You know, the people that matter, they support me, and the ones that don't, oh well. So I'm very happy where I am. And, you know, I can't say enough how much I agree with both of you. Love it.
Yep. I teach Ella, so our daughter, you know, yeah, she's always going to be a little bit different. She has autism, you know, but I teach not just Ella, actually. I teach all the women in my community events and my workshops and my private clients. I teach them, take up space. It's okay to be seen. Take up space. You know, gone are the times where we had to hide. Gone are the times where we were, I don't know about, what generation everybody hears from, but, for me, I was brought up in that be seen and not heard generation. And it's like, you know what? F that. If my daughter has something to say, she can bloody well say it. And if everybody disagrees with her, that's okay, because she's entitled to her opinion and she's entitled to be who she needs to be for her. Take up space. That would be the biggest thing. Take the mask off. Don't have to pretend to be something that you're not for other people, because that's just people pleasing. That's just creating, a whole different cycle of toxic behaviors for yourself and limiting beliefs. Take up space, take off the mask, be the weird, wonderful, and unique. We have this joke that the only thing normal in this house is a setting on the washing machine, and even that doesn't work properly sometimes. Like who wants to be normal? Who wants to just be like everybody else? How crap and boring would the world be if everybody was exactly the same and didn't show us their unique light? Take up space. Be seen.
I love what Misty just wrote in the chat. I've started power posing as soon as I get up. I open my curtains and stand as big as I can in my window. I love that. That is so beautiful. I don't even close my curtains, but I'm in the woods.
Yeah.
So we have 108 meditators here. There's my number. There's my sign. I was going to say, I'm just curious because we're going to keep this to an hour because Carly has a live in an hour, and I don't want to run over time. But I was going to say, before we go, does anybody have any questions? Do either of you have anything you want to add? Anything that you want to talk about that's coming up with your lives, your tracks, courses? I know, Saskia, I've been seeing a lot of your tracks that I love. I love them all. Being published, new ones. So anything you want to share?
I have two things. One, I just wanted to say it's right now on my computer. It's the 11th, 2222. So we have a lot of magic going on in this moment right now. I get these downloads. I recently created an audio healing journey for each and every negative emotion that you could possibly struggle with, from guilt, shame, regret, grief, anger. And every single one of these journeys will flip your perspective on these seemingly negative emotions so that you will find them a lot easier to deal with in the future. So go check those out. And also on Saturday, this Saturday, I'm pretty sure it's this Saturday, I'm doing Truth or Dare. So I've turned Truth or Dare on its head. So it's Truth or Dare, the healing version. Instead of embarrassment and humiliation, we use the dares and the truths to get deeper into ourselves and connect to each other and piss ourselves laughing while we do it. So if you're around and you want to step out your comfort zone and make a knob out yourself, come hang out with us on Saturday.
Can I
Carly,
just
what are you
say,
doing?
the last Truth or Dare that you did was amazing. Freaking loved that. And one of the dares was to remove somebody. You dared some. I can't remember, to remove something from your house that you every time you looked at was toxic or hard to look at. And so Jordan's mum is a very toxic, narcissistic person. Anyway, she gave us this coffee cup because she knew that I love coffee cups. So she gave us this coffee cup, and Jordan had said, every time I see this coffee cup, it gives me the shits. So he grabbed the coffee cup, and he was so worried about it breaking and hurting himself that he put it in a bag and he took it out. I'm not joking when I say this. He took this cup, and it's a big cup, right? Took this cup out to the backyard where we've got this big paving area, and he's picked it up and he has gone to smash it down on the ground.
Yes, Jordan.
But it bounced.
Oh my.
That is how toxic his mother is. The stupid thing didn't break.
Did he step on it? Did he stomp on it? Did he jump on it? What did
He goes, you do it. You do it. Clearly, the universe is not letting me do it. So I picked it up and I just sort of like dropped it on the ground, like half of the strength that he did it. And it smashed into a million pieces for me, but it bounced for Jordan. It was like,
Wow.
oh my God. Yeah. But we got rid of it. That was the most important thing. We got rid of it. But yeah, I remember that session. It was the best. The truth or dare with Saskia is so much fun. It's so good. And it's about also being, when we got to the truth section, it was about also being really authentically honest with yourself as well. Like not just saying what you think everybody wants you to hear. Be truthful with yourself, because otherwise you're kidding yourself at the same time. Yeah. So, but yeah. For me, I've got a painting session in about an hour and 2 hours actually. So it's 9:30 for me. It's a sip and paint. So I'm going to make a cacao, and we're painting a Halloween picture. So it'd be a nice, fun, creative session. And then I've also got sometime, let me have a look. Then Saturday morning, I've got a cacao and creativity session. So we'll be using our journals to connect within for healing activity. And then next week, Jordan is back here. We're going to do a monthly messages session now that Jordan is feeling a bit better. And then the week after, we've got a full moon cacao where I am opening my September envelope. For those who don't know, I created all these envelopes in on New Year's Eve last year. So I sat down, I pulled out a whole heap of decks and did a cacao, and I pulled out cards for each month of the year. Didn't see what they were, put them in an envelope, sealed the envelope with the message, and each month I open it up and it's a message for me for that month this year. But it was drawn back in December. Yeah.
I love that. We're going to have to do a live on that. I love that idea.
Yeah. So each month I open an envelope and see what my messages were. And so far, every month, the messages have been spot on for what's going on in my life at this time. So my September full moon cacao ceremony, I'll be opening my September envelope with everybody. So, yeah.
I love that. We're going to have to do that at the end of this year for next year. I love that idea.
Yeah.
I better write that down or I'll forget. Now, do you want to pull a card for us before we go?
I did actually, because
Awesome.
At the start when I said you get to choose a deck, somebody, and I can't remember who it was, I do apologize, it might have been Misty, I can't remember, had said that they wanted a card from the 4 Agreements deck. So that's what I pulled the card from. And the card that plopped out was from the first agreement. So if you haven't read the book, go and read the book. It's an amazing book. Oh, it was Cecilia. Okay, Cecilia, here we go. So the first agreement is be impeccable with your word. And that isn't just about what you say out here, but it's what you say in here as well, remembering what you say to yourself. And it says, let go of self-judgment and blame.
So how perfect.
I love that. Yes. And then on the back, it says, be impeccable. You take responsibility for your actions, but you do not judge or blame yourself for anything. And that is perfect, because so often we sit down and we go, what ifs, what has, what should have beens, and that's not helping anything. In fact, I'm going to see if I can find it, because I saved a quote yesterday. I'm sure it was yesterday. Let's see if I can find it. That really goes along with this. Hopefully I can find it. Okay, so the quote that I saved said, the truth is, if I could go back in time, I wouldn't belong there anymore. And
wow.
that is healing. So this, I think, goes along with it, because there's no point in judging and blaming what was. We can't change any of that. Would you really want to go back to that anyway? No. So we've got to learn to be impeccable with our words now, forgive ourselves for holding on to it as long as we did, for being in survival mode, for being the victim and for wallowing. But right now, just release it with love. We don't have to hold that emotion anymore. So let go of self-judgment and blame. There we go.
Excellent. Excellent. I love that. And I love that. If I could go back in time, I wouldn't belong there anymore. I've said that so many times, not in that way, but I've said, I don't even know that person that I was, 20 years ago. Like, I can't believe that she put up with the crap that she put up with, so I love that. What a beautiful way to end. So I'm going to say again, thank you, Saskia. It's 10:30 now for you. So thank you for coming late. And Carly, thank you for, being an early riser and being here at 6:30 in the morning. I am neither. Well, I mean, I'm a late night person, but I'm right in the middle. It was 4:30 for me when we started. So this was a perfect time for me. So thank you both of you for
organizing it. And thank you for bringing all the teachers to all the people on Insight Timer, Violet.
I love it. I love it so much that it's what comes natural to me now. I don't even think about it. When anyone says, "Hey, let's do this," I'm like, "Let's do it. Let's just do it." So thank you. And thank you, everybody. Thank you for those beautiful comments. I'm going to upload the audio. I promise. This is all recorded, so you can watch it again. There were so many beautiful things and comments that I missed. So I will definitely be going back to read them and respond to some people one-on-one. Thank you, everybody, so much. We're going to say goodbye.
Bye, beautiful humans.